السلام عليكم. كي دايرين؟ لاباس عليكم؟ كلشي بخير؟ بالمناسبة ديال رمضان نتمنى لكم رمضان مبارك سعيد، الله يدخل عليكم بالصحة والسلامة والنجاح إن شاء الله تعالى. This is Professor Jalal Ismaili again, and as I promised you last time, I would like to share with you this video where I talk about ideas, tips that can help you produce better quality writing. Now, before you start the process of writing, you need to pay close attention to certain things. The first one is the objective, okay? What is requested from you, okay? The nature of the paragraph you are, or the essay you are about to produce, okay? Whether it is descriptive, narrative, expository, or informative, or argumentative. Now, these types of paragraphs or purposes, okay, if you want, have different techniques. Second thing, you need to pay close attention to the instructions, okay? Once you know what the topic is about and what is required from you, you need to know all the details, okay? For instance, I'm going to ask you to write about the advantages more than disadvantages, okay? You need, for instance, okay, to tell me if you are for or against, okay? I don't want you to stay neutral, okay? Now, let's get back to the nature of the writing or the purposes of writing, okay? The first one is descriptive. So what do we usually describe? We tend to describe people, places, events, objects, animals, etc., okay? And the purpose of this type of writing is to create an image, okay, for the reader. So when I read your paragraph, I start to imagine what you're talking about. I start to draw a kind of image about what you've seen, what you're telling me, okay? The second one, and in this type of writing, you need to use, for instance, adjectives to depict, okay, the visuals, and you need to use simple tenses, okay, it's like simple past or simple present. The second type I'm going to talk about is the narrative, and in the narrative writing, you are telling a story. Okay, what happened? And you need to mention 5 elements. You need to pay close attention to 5 key elements. The first one is the setting. By the setting, we mean when and what, when and where. I'm sorry. Okay, where the thing happened and when did it happen? It's like you are contextualizing the scene. The second one, the characters, the people involved in the story. The third element is the action or events, okay, what happened. The fourth element is the focal point, okay, was there any issue, was there any problem, okay, if it is the climax, it is the peak of events, okay. And finally, or the fifth element is resolution, how the story ended, whether in a bad way or in a good way, okay? Whether it was happy ending or tragic ending. The third purpose is expository or informative. For instance, you are requested to provide information about an epidemic, okay? Like coronavirus, for instance, okay? Or tell me about the advantages of internet. In this type of writing, you are requested to provide information that is neutral, that has nothing to do with you as a person. It is more objective, not subjective, and there is less or almost no margin for debate or disagreement. Okay, for instance, when I describe something as, when I say white, milk is white, okay, there is no room for discussion about it, okay? And the last one I'm going to talk about is the argumentative essay. What is the argumentative essay? It is an essay where you tend to convince, you tend to persuade the reader of your point of view or of your ideas, etc. For instance, for the time being, there is like a debatable issue that is of experimenting vaccines on animals. Should we do it or not? Okay, some people think that we should go for it. Okay, it saves people's lives. Other people think that it is cruel, okay, that we need to find other alternatives, and each group, okay, have their own arguments that are somehow convincing. And in this type of essays, there is no like 100% right and 100% wrong. Okay, there is still room for disagreement, okay, for debate, for persuasion. Okay. Now we have talked about the objectives, okay, or the purposes of writing. Okay. Now I'd like to share with you some tips. Now, I think we have already elaborated on these tips, but I'm going to go over these once again, but in a brief way. First, you need always to write a topic sentence. Topic sentence, the first sentence in your writing or in your paragraph, in your essay, and it has to be, if you still remember, precise, concise, and to the point. So I gave you the KISS rule, if you still remember. Keep it short and stupid. Okay, don't try to use fancy words, etc. Get straight to the topic. Make it as simple as possible. And as I said, the topic sentence gives you like a general idea of the whole paragraph. After the topic sentence, use the supporting details, supporting statements. Now I have an argument, okay, I have an idea that I would like to defend, so I'm going to mention or to use some arguments, examples, statistics that can support my argument. And how are you going to connect or to hook these sentences together? Using the linking words. The linking words that we have studied so far are addition, and moreover, furthermore, also, etc. Okay, concession, when you have something positive, something negative, or when you have something negative and something more negative. Okay, like however, yet, but, on the other hand, although, however, etc. Cause, because, as, since, effect, as a result, consequently, therefore, etc. And we also studied the purpose, in order to, so that, to, etc. There is also another category of linking words, that is of listing. I think we have studied that as well. First, second, third, fourth, to begin with, also, then, finally, etc. And I'd like to share something with you, something very special. When I'm correcting your writings, I tend to count how many words you have, or linking words you have used. In some paragraphs that you have provided this week, okay, some students didn't use any linking words at all. There were like plain sentences, okay, hooked up together with just a full stop, moving from one sentence to another, okay, without any linking words. And this is real or a serious mistake that you need to pay attention to. One last thing, okay, before you submit your project, you need to go over the paragraph again, or the essay, the multi-paragraph essay again, and see if you have any mistakes. Obviously, you're gonna find grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, punctuation mistakes that you have to address before you submit your project. Generally, I prefer simplicity. Go simple. Whenever you go simple, you avoid getting yourself in trouble, getting yourself in making trivial mistakes, stupid mistakes if you want. Okay, go simple. Simplicity is always appreciated. I'd like you, for instance, to avoid stuffing. For instance, you know, a certain word, you think that it is glittery, you think it is sophisticated, it's gonna be impressive, okay? And you stuff it, you put it in a place where it doesn't belong. So you end up making like unnecessary mistakes. So try to avoid stuffing, try to go simple, as I always advocate. One last thing, sometimes students, okay, do not know how to express an idea. For instance, they want to know a word, they know it in Arabic, but they can't say it in English. So they spend a lot of time, okay, thinking and overthinking about it, okay? This is a waste of time. If you don't know a word, try to express it differently. Try to use different sentence, Try to use a different expression, okay? Because if you go like that, you're gonna waste precious time that you would maybe invest doing something more important. Well, that's it for today. I wish you a happy Ramadan again, and take care of yourselves. If you have any other questions, okay, don't forget to address your questions to me either on Google Classroom or on YouTube. Have a good day. Bye-bye.